Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the BigMx radio podcast. This would be a solo cast. I am your host, Brad Gebhart, and we got some things to get to. And on this episode, we are going to go over a number of things. First and foremost, we have to get to Cooper Webb's third 450 title. Before I get to that, I have to let you guys know that this podcast is brought to you by Racetech, Racetech Suspension and Engines. Amazing people over there. I guarantee within your general area, you've got a race tech dealer or a certified service center who can set up your suspension the way you need it to be so that you can enjoy your throttle therapy that much more. And you can also save money on race tech when you mention BigMx Radio when you call straight to the headquarters down in California. So do exactly that. Save yourself some money on getting your bike to handle better or maybe create a little bit more horsepower with their engine services as well. And either way, regardless of what you're doing, it's race tech and it's race tech alone because Lord knows they have what it takes and they have what you need to be more successful with that. So enjoy your riding your motorcycle a little bit more. So in this episode, we will cover, like I said, Cooper Webb's third 450 title. RJ Hampshire sliding into third place in the 250 East points. We're going to talk about Jet going to the Met Gala. That's a little bit in the rearview mirror, but I still wanted to touch on it because it is a big story. I'll give my thoughts on it a little bit. I'm also going to kind of dive a little bit into Lucas Myrtle's antics on social a little bit. It's a bit concerning. And I'll kind of weigh in on that a little bit later on in the show. And then a brand new segment, charging and fading. Something that I think is really sort of on an upward trend and something that might be moving itself to the back of the pack or not really in the public eye nearly as much as it could be, should be, or otherwise has been in the past. Also, want to let you guys know that Luxon MX is a great sponsor of this podcast. They've been helping out for a long period of time. They've been great friends of mine setting up my motorcycle. I'm looking forward to getting a set of triple clamps for my 2024 KTM 250 or 300 SX and doing some riding in the near future. But you guys can go on their website right now and save 10% on any one of your purchases. And this is good as many times you'd like to use the code BigMx 2025 saves you 10%. So if it's a set of triple clamps, those can run as much as $1,000. 10% saving is literally like Luxon MX handing you guys $100. So that's pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie whatsoever. I think that's pretty sick. Um, so let's jump straight into this thing. Segment number one, topic number one. Cooper Webb is now a three-time Supercross champion. That puts him in championships ahead of guys like James Stewart, guys like Chad Reed, guys like Eli Tomac. Tomac doesn't have three titles. Um, in the sort of the Mount Rushmore of as far as Supercross goes, does that put Cooper Webb ahead of those legends, guys like Chad Reed, guys like James Stewart? I'm not entirely sure that it does. It certainly is a massive feather in his cap and something that he can say that he's done that a number of other riders have not done. Like I think it certainly puts him in the conversation. I think ultimately, it really depends on like how well the rest of Cooper Webb's career as far as like his legacy. I know there's some people out there who say Jet is the best that's ever been, the best that ever will be. Unfortunately, him getting hurt this last year, that's gonna hurt his overall number of wins that he gets throughout his career. Obviously, he's not going to get as many championships as he possibly could have gotten. He's looking good to be able to defend his title this year. Would he have been able to do that? That's not my place to say, honestly. I think an injury like that, an ACL, is something that's obviously that's not, you're not going to be able to overcome that within the season, and like not going to play devil's advocate to say like, yeah, Jet Lawrence, had he been healthy, puts himself, yeah, like, I think he would have had a really good opportunity to win this championship, especially as well with Eli Tomac going out. Um, but when he left the series, I can't even honestly say that Jet was the absolute best guy in this particular season. So yeah, like it's really like something to be said about a guy like Cooper Webb who now has five total Supercross championships, between two 250 championships, and now three 450 championships. I think a lot of people, just looking at his career, I think he's probably the most unlikely three-time champion. Just with the fact that there's been a lot of years where Cooper has come in seemingly out of shape. Like sometimes he's like seems a little bit like he's an enigma wrapped in a riddle as far as sort of figuring out if he's the most motivated guy out there. But what he is he's consistent. What he is he is extremely skilled on motorcycle, and he's a gamer. He is going to battle you tooth and nail for every single inch when it comes to a championship. And yeah, it's been really, really yeah, number two with the dad bod, 100%. I got some comments rolling in as well. So but honestly, like dad bod or not, he has been a guy who has consistently put himself into a position to win championships and capitalized on it. Cooper Webb is your 2025 champion. That's also a first time 450 championship now for Alex Campbell, which I think that now means that he's won all of the championships. I think he has a 450 outdoor championship with Ferrandis, if I'm not mistaken. That was his first premier title, and he's won 250 titles with Ferrandis as well in Supercross and outdoors. So hey, like quietly, and these guys are always on the back burner, but Alex Campbell, I don't know if like if that puts him in the same category as a guy like a Mike Gosler. I don't know if in 2025 we revere these mechanics the same way we did in like the 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s of like these amazing mechanics that just get it done. But and that are just looked at as these gurus of motorcycles. I don't know why that's kind of faded away, but yeah, certainly is something to talk about. Alex Campbell now has a championship in every major title within the sport as far as North America is concerned. Ultimately, this championship came down to Chase Sexton making mistakes, but Cooper Webb was able to capitalize on every single opportunity, and this was also the fastest and most talented version of Cooper Webb that we've seen, and that's exactly why he was able to take advantage of every single one of those opportunities, and that's why he's your 2025 champion. Let's get straight into Jet Lawrence going to the Met Gala. Now, for those who don't know what the Met Gala is, it's a fashion show. If it's nothing else, it is a great opportunity for. This is the most mainstream of the North American fashion shows in this regard. This brings out NFL players. This brings out MMA fighters. This brings out basically like every celebrities from every corner of the globe. They want to be. This is like sort of the place to see and be seen. I think in this respect, Jet Lawrence was more seeing than he was being seen by the overarching public. But like, does this matter much in the grand scheme of motocross as a sport? No, I honestly don't think that this like puts us on the map by any means. We've been on some massive stages in the past. We'll be on massive stages in the future, and I don't think that necessarily um, like just launches motocross into the stratosphere of like stardom, and all of a sudden like we're gonna start bringing in these huge Procter and Gamble style sponsorships, but perhaps that like that is this is why we do stuff like this, is maybe it does turn the head of a marketing person that needs to see that sort of event being attended by a motocross person. And if that is something that ends up happening through this, then it's a positive thing. I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing in any respect. Anytime that motocross is featured on the biggest stage of the entire globe, I think it's a good thing. And I think that it's cool that he was, and also looked pretty sharp. Not gonna lie. I think he had kind of like a reddish purple, sort of dark suit on. He's got that the watch company that he seems to be connected with. That I think it's like Movement or Moment or something along those lines. Uh, that company, like they have a ton of followers, but their social media doesn't really seem to like. I think that's kind of a tuned out audience that they've got on that side of things. So I'm not really sure what to make of the watches I'm not much of a watch guy though, so don't really know what to say there. But like, does attending the Met Gala sell bikes and parts? Again, I would say no. Potentially, it draws the eye of a marketing person from a huge brand that gives motocross a chance, and I think that's the most that the sport can really hope to get out of a situation like that, or attending an event like this. And it's cool for a young athlete like Jet to be able to go. Other athletes that I think would have done a really good job representing the sport, I think would be a guy like either Colt Nichols, good looking cat for one. Plus, he's always kind of fashion first, as well as a guy like Ken Roxon. Ken, he's got that strong jaw. He's a good looking cat, dresses well. He was one of the first guys. He was the first guy to wear the suit to the press conference at Anaheim 1 2017. But yeah, good for Jet to go in there and represent us of all motocross races everywhere. Let's get to one of the questions we've got. Will Cooper Webb contend for the 2025 outdoor title? No, and I didn't expect him to either. I think that like I do expect him to race select rounds. I expect him to race his either his favorite 6 rounds or whichever rounds kind of fit his training schedule and keeping him sharp and prepares him most for the SMX playoffs. Is this good for the series? Ultimately, anytime that you have a top level athlete, a marquee athlete bowing out of a series or not participating in the entire series, as a whole, that hurts the like sort of the story of that season. You're gonna have a guy who sort of comes in, makes some noise, and then is gone for a couple of races. Like ultimately, I think it creates a situation where like later on, years down the road, be like you talk about all the time that like Eli or Cooper Webb like kind of came in and kind of had like some flashes of brilliance or took over one particular race. But I think that it sort of it shows that there's an importance now on Supercross and the SMX thing, and obviously that comes down to money, and that's and rightfully so. These guys they race to make money. They're entertainers and they want to perform, but if the juice isn't worth the squeeze to race outdoors, I can't fault a racer for not wanting to race that series. Given the fact that these guys go breakneck speeds, they are they're absolutely selling themselves out weekend in, weekend out. And if by having an abbreviated schedule through the outdoors puts Cooper Webb in the best opportunity to be rolling into the SMX playoffs, sitting third, fourth, fifth in points as far as how the seeding works out, then I think that that's something that he's gonna want. He's gonna value at a really high regard, and I could see him, yeah, like I could see him being at the opening round, maybe the opening 2, 3 rounds, and then him showing up at a place like Millville. That was the home of his very first win in the 450 class in 2019. Obviously, he won the championship in Supercross earlier that year, but I mean, his first outdoor title or outdoor uh, main or overall, which he actually got in a 1-1 performance, is the only time he's ever gone 1-1 at an outdoor was Millville 2019. I could see him showing up to that. I could see him showing up to the previous round, which would be Redbud, Michigan. But I could also see him missing rounds like Southwick or Budds Creek, which I believe is the finale this year. But I also know that he's looking to make some noise and possibly be called to represent USA for more across the nation. So yeah, I would not be surprised to see Cooper Webb race multiple rounds. I don't see him doing the entire series. He came out right in the press conference and says he doesn't give a crap about outdoors, which is not a great soundbite for the series in general. I think in hindsight, maybe kind of like looks back at that comment and maybe that wasn't his most shining moment. But yeah, like overall, I think that it was that's exactly what you're going to expect from Cooper Webb. I expect some good results when he's there. I also expect there to be some weekends where he's kind of invisible if he just goes out there and he's not feeling it on a particular weekend. Goes out, gets himself some good points to put himself in a good position for the SMX playoffs, and that'll be all she wrote.